Hi, I'm Stella Cole, and you're listening to In Love with Jazz with Roger Zhang.
You sigh, the song begins, you speak and I hear violins, it's magic. The stars desert the skies and rush to nestle in your eyes, it's magic. Without a golden wand or mystic charms, fantastic things begin when I am in your arms. When we walk hand in hand, the world becomes a wonderland, it's magic. How else can I explain those rainbows when there is no rain? It's magic. Why do I tell myself these things that happen are all really true? When in my heart I know the magic is my love for you. It's magic. It's magic. Why do I tell myself these things that happen are all really true? When in my heart I know the magic is my love for you.
喂 ，Hello， 大家好啊！歡迎再次收聽 D100 爵士鍾情 In Love with Jazz， 我係你哋嘅主持人鍾一諾 Roger。啱啱聽過嘅呢一隻係全新嘅大碟 Stella Cole 嘅 It's Magic 嘅，咁哇！呢一隻碟咧係非常之好聽啦，而呢一隻亦都係呢一隻碟嘅主打歌曲。而今日咧，我非常之榮幸可以請到 Stella Cole 嚟到呢一個節目，咁而家咧我就會用英文同佢對答嘅，咁喺呢個節目裏邊咧，我會做一啲 translation 嘅一陣間，咁但係咧而家咧我就會用英文同佢對答，咁Welcome Stella.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
All the way, zooming in all the way from Illinois, right?
Yes, from the Midwest, in the middle of my tour right now.
And you're actually in your grandparents' place, so I'm very
glad
on my show.
Thanks so much. Yeah, my grandparents own an antique store. They're like cool furniture from the 1800s all around me. Yeah, kind of cool.
I love the drapes, and everything.
Right?
Yeah.
Very cool. Lots of old American furniture.
Looks very expensive.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I can't speak to them, but yeah, it's lots of great stuff around here.
So welcome to my show. And we're going to talk about your album today. And before we do that, let's talk about the song, It's Magic, which is the plug song for your album, the titular song from your album. When I was growing up, my mom really loved Doris Day. And so I've listened to the song a lot of times, It's Magic, the Doris Day's version. Now there's this really elegant version with you and the strings orchestra doing the song It's Magic. How did you choose this song as your as the signature song from this album? And yeah, tell us a little bit about It's Magic.
Absolutely. Well, we were choosing between actually Till There Was You and It's Magic, which are two songs on the record. I had wanted to call it Till There Was You because it's a album with all these love songs, all of these songs about falling in love and finding this person who makes the world feel magical and stuff. And then we after we actually heard the record, I kept thinking to myself, this sounds so magical, like with the strings, and I had been trying to channel the whole time this very old Hollywood feel. So I wanted it to be aesthetically sort of what the old movies in America from the 40s and 50s sounded like. I wanted it to look like that with the album cover, like old Disney movies, and I think that we call it like Hollywood magic, like old Hollywood magic. So it just was perfect to me. We were trying to create something rather magical that felt like a bit of an escape from the real world and like you were going up into the clouds to this magical world.
That's definitely the effect that the album is giving us. I'm
glad.
Did you grow up with watching these old Hollywood movies? Is that why you kind of like, these songs, these old pop and jazz standards?
Yes, I was first introduced to all of this through films. The first movie I ever saw with this music was seeing Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz. And I fell in love with that movie when I was only 2 years old. My parents showed it to me, and apparently I asked to watch it every single day for more than a year. I asked to watch it, so I've seen that movie hundreds of times. And even as a 3-year-old and 4-year-old, I knew all the songs. I was singing along. I was just obsessed. It was everything to me. So they started showing me other movies like The Sound of Music and Mary Poppins, Singing in the Rain, all of these wonderful old films. And it really informed my taste in music and the things that I love to this day, clearly.
American culture, at its best, right? So, you mentioned Sound of Music. These are all the movies that I grew up with too. With Julianne, right? Mary Poppins,
the best.
Oh, just Kelly. The MGM people. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, we're on the same page, Roger. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. And, as I mentioned, my mom's favorite is Doris Day. So I was watching quite a lot of her stuff too and listened to.
I love it.
Yeah.
Your mom has great taste.
Oh, yes. And, this, I would say that this album is quite different from, your first one, because this one you have a strings orchestra, very elegant, and it feels very big. Your first album, which is a self-titled Stella Cole album, it's you're kind of playing with the jazz band, standard jazz band straight ahead.
Yes.
How did you decide to kind of like switch gear a little bit? Let's make it like old Hollywood, make it very grand. How did you make that decision?
That's a great question. I think for the first album, this is what I wanted my first album to sound like, but I had never made a record before. I had never been in the studio before. I sort of didn't know. I just didn't really know what I was doing as much, and I didn't have the skills the leadership skills, I guess, to communicate to everyone exactly what I wanted. So that's part of it. But the other part is that I had just moved to New York. We put that album out in 2024, and we recorded it in 2023, I think. And I had just moved to New York and started really getting onto the jazz scene, like in the last 2 years before that, like 2021 and 2022. And so I was playing every night, 5 nights a week in New York at little clubs and little bars and restaurants, playing with the jazz trio. And so I think it had a big effect on what I was hearing. Like what I had always loved and grown up on was that elegant old Hollywood strings. But then I was also getting this big influence from being at Small's Jazz Club until 3 a.m. every night and, hearing all of this jazz. So it made sense to me at that point to incorporate some more small group stuff and saxophone solos and everything. But I think in the last year or so, I've gotten back in touch with my roots. What I really love about this music, like the albums I love are all these big soaring orchestra things. And that's what I've loved since I was a kid. The trio stuff, the jazz stuff, I've only been discovering in the last 4 years or something. But yeah, wow. I think this one really feels like my dream album, the one that I've always been dreaming of making.
So when did you really know that you really love this kind of stuff? You mentioned about Wizard of Oz, of course, but that was 2 years old, right? So when did you really kind of know, like, okay, this is what I really like, I'm going to call these my favorites?
Yeah, I mean, I think it started when I was 2 and then never really stopped until now. When I was in high school, I remember I was very obsessed with musical theater and Broadway as well, because, most of these old movies were on Broadway in the 30s, 40s, 50s. So it's all very related, the worlds of jazz and standards and Broadway. And of course, that. I don't need to explain that to you, but for the people listening. So when I was in high school, I remember hanging out with my friends and they all wanted to listen to Justin Bieber or Katy Perry. And I was always in my car, I was always playing Judy Garland and Barbra Streisand and Nat King Cole. I was always just like the weird one who liked this music more than anything. So welcome to the club. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it's just always been my very favorite. Yeah, I can't really remember a time. There was a time in college where I sort of lost touch with my love for this music, because I had a few professors tell me that this music wasn't marketable, like that nobody wanted to hear this music. Yeah, I was in a musical theater program and they were sort of like, if you want to go on Broadway, you need to sing more pop music, like you need to stop singing this old stuff. So that can't be all that you do. So yeah, I was misled.
You gotta think Hamilton, right? Or
yeah, exactly.
Or the prequel to Wizard of Oz, not Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, right?
No, I think there's at that time there was this thing where every Broadway song sort of sounded like a pop song, not just with Hamilton, but just with like Wicked or all these high belty things. And now there's a lot of jazz on Broadway actually, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, that's right. So you're leaning more towards the Broadway, the old kind of Broadway shows. I'm really talking about Richard Rodgers and Hammerstein and all those. Which one is your favorite?
The Broadway musicals, you mean?
Yeah.
So many. The Sound of Music is my favorite. Okay. Top three are Sound of Music, and actually Stephen Sondheim, Merrily We Roll Along. That's one of my favorites of all time.
Wow.
And then, the other one it's so hard to choose. Those are my top 2. They're tied. I'm just going to say top 2.
Top 2, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
My top 2 is Sound of Music also.
Yeah, right?
And I just love that. My parents' favorite. And West Side Story.
West Side Story is so good.
Right?
Yeah.
There is another one, which is not exactly, it was a movie first, but it starred Julie Andrews. Victor Victoria. I really like that.
Oh, that is such a great one. Yeah. Victor Victoria. That's good. That's a niche one.
Yeah, Henry Mancini. I love it.
The best. Henry Mancini's the best.
Yeah. One of the greatest. And we're going to listen to another track from your album. How about Stairway to the Stars? Can you tell us a little bit about this tune?
This one has become one of my favorites from the record. It's not a lead single or anything. It's actually... Oh, really? That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's funny because... So our original intention with this album was to go in with my trio, my touring band, and record some songs, and then go in with the orchestra and record some songs, and to put them all on the same album. And we went in with the orchestra first, and it was amazing. And we went in with the trio 2 days later, and I was like, this is great. And obviously my touring band is like incredible. They were great, but I was like, this does not fit together on the record. Like, we need more strings to it. But we didn't have enough songs recorded at that point to be a whole record. It would have been like six songs, something. I'm trying to remember. Trying to remember the exact number. But what we did was we called Alan Broadbent, our wonderful Grammy-winning strings ranger, and we were like, Alan, we want to record 3 or 4 more songs for this album. Can you have us charts by next week? And because I was going on tour after that for like 7 weeks or something. Like, there was no time. It had to be like right then. So Alan came up with these quartet charts for my ideal, Stairway to the Stars, Imagination, and I guess that was it. Was it also Fools Rush In? I can't remember. But he came up with these last minute charts, and they ended up being some of my favorite charts. And I just can't believe he came up with Stairway to the Stars. He came up with that arrangement in just a couple of days. He's such a genius. So it's become my favorite one. The beginning of the song, the string intro, like, it sounds like your heart is like fluttering and beating, and it sounds like you're about to fall in love to me. It's just so, and the ending is the literal ascension to a stairway to the stars. Like, I just think it's genius. Alan is the greatest.
Definitely, and we're going to listen to it right now. Stairway to the Stars.
Climb that stairway to the stars. With love beside us, we'll fill the night with a song. We'll hear the sound of violins out yonder where the blue begins. The moon will guide us as we go drifting along. Can't we sail away on a lazy daisy pedal over the rim of the hill? Can't we sail away on a little dream and settle high on the crest of a thrill? Let's build a stairway to the stars, a lovely stairway to the stars. It would be heaven to climb to heaven with you. Can't we sail away on a lazy daisy pedal over the rim of the stairway to the stars, a lovely stairway to the stars. It would be heaven to climb to heaven with you.
你啱啱聽過嘅呢一隻咧係 Stairway to the Stars Stella Cole 嘅全新大碟 It's Magic 裏邊嘅第4 track 嚇。咁啊頭先咧10幾分鐘13分鐘嘅呢一個 interview， 我哋就問咗好多，傾咗好多偈啦，講起佢自己由細到大2、3歲嘅時候已經係好中意呢啲舊式嘅荷里活 Golden Era of 荷里活嘅呢一啲嘅音樂啦，就由Judy Garland 主演嘅 Wizard of Oz 綠野仙蹤開始之後咧就 branch out to Sound of Music Mary Poppins 呢啲 Julie Andrews 嘅musical 啦同埋 Singing in the Rain Gene Kelly 呢啲，咁我亦都有講到我細個嘅時候，因為我媽咪好中意聽呢啲嘅音樂㗎啦，其實 Julie Andrews Sound of Music 等等係嘛，仲有 Doris Day 呢啲，所以咧我都係真係我長大嘅時候都係聽呢啲音樂嘅，所以我哋個 interview 咧非常之順暢嘅，可以話係進行得咁亦都有講到就係點解佢第一張碟佢自己呢張叫做 Stella Cole 嘅碟嘅時候，佢會當陣時係未錄呢一個 string orchestra 嘅，今次 It's Magic 咧就有晒呢啲 string orchestra， 咁其實就係因為佢細個嘅時候已經係好想，即係如果成為歌手咧，已經係好想，呢個係佢 dream album 嚟嘅。原來今次嘅 It's Magic 有晒 strings， 因為佢就係好中意呢啲 old Hollywood 嘅音樂啦。咁但係因為佢嗰陣時2020幾年，即係大概4年前度啦，咁佢就開始喺 New York City 活躍啦。咁就同佢自己嘅嗰隊 jazz trio 啦，就即係 small group 嘅呢一隊 jazz trio 啦，就經常差唔多每一日咧都有 gig， 每一日都要喺啲 club 嗰度唱，咁所以咧就同佢哋 form 咗一個 relationship， 咁所以咧就順理成章，當陣時第一張碟，亦都冇嗰陣時冇個 budget 亦都冇嗰個佢自己講話佢未有嗰一種嘅leadership 咁咧就所以咧第一張碟嘅時候咧就錄咗一隻比較 small group 啲嘅細型啲嘅一個 trio， 加可能一個 saxophone 嘅一張唱片，但今次咧真係咧佢係 fulfill 佢兒時嘅一個夢想啊，所以今次嘅呢一張碟咧真係佢自己好想錄嘅亦都開始咧就講到Stairway to the Stars 同埋 Alan Broadband。幫佢做好多嘅 strings arrangement， 所以咧以下落嚟咧，我哋會同佢繼續傾下呢一張碟裏邊嘅製作，特別咧會提到 Alan Broadband 啦，同埋 Matt Pearson 佢嘅 producer 嘅。咁我哋而家即刻開始聽第2段嘅 interview with Stella Cole.
You know, we got to talk about Alan Broadband. Can you tell us a little bit about your collaborative relationship with Alan?
Yes, well, when I was doing my first album, as we mentioned earlier, we were looking for somebody to arrange for a small strings and woodwind section. I crowdfunded my first album, so we couldn't afford to do like a big orchestral thing. So we did a condensed version. It was like 8 or 10 string and woodwind combined. So we knew we had to find an arranger who could make a small group sound much bigger than it was. And Alan was suggested to me by my manager and producer, Matt Pearson.
Yeah.
And the moment I heard Alan's stuff, I just was like, yes, absolutely. I went to his house in New Jersey and we played some songs together, and I just was so impressed by he's a genius. His musicianship's amazing. So it was so great to work with him on that first album. He also orchestrated my Christmas EP, which I put out last year. Pretty incredible. He's worked with so many of my inspirations, Michael Bublé and Barbra Streisand and Diana Krall, Natalie Cole, like just a legend. So he made the he made the Christmas album sound to me like an old movie. Like it sounded like Bing Crosby and it sounded like White Christmas. And so I told him with this album, I was like, I want it to sound like the Christmas record, but not a Christmas song. Like I want it to sound that big and that sort of that magical. So it's been amazing to work with him. I just feel so lucky.
What a blessing to have Alan, you know, in this album, because I've been following his stuff for quite some time, and you know, I really love his stuff. You know, he reminded me of, you know, people like, you know, classic string arrangers like Johnny Mandel, or Klaus Ogerman. You know, so it's just
it's amazing.
Torch, right? So this is just amazing. And tell us a little bit about Matt Pearson too.
Yeah, Matt is great. I first got connected with Matt in 2022, I want to say, very end of 2022 or beginning of 23. When I was first getting on the jazz scene, I remember playing some gigs with Pasquale Grasso, who made his last couple of records with Matt with Sony Masterworks, and Samara Joy was first starting to play in clubs at that time when I had just moved to New York. She was just like, I went to see her first show at Mesro, I think, which is like just a tiny club, like 40 people maybe can fit in there if you squeeze. I was front row at a couple of her shows, and she was just so gifted. And I was, you know, researching who was producing her albums and Pasquale's albums. And I found Matt's name, and I decided to just send him an email one day and say, hey, we have a couple mutual friends, would love to work with you. I didn't think he would ever answer me, because at that time I had a couple 100,000 followers on social media, but I didn't have any gigs really or anything like that, and wasn't touring, didn't have any music out. But he answered me, and we Zoomed, and through making the album together, we got to know each other better. And he asked to manage me after we released the album. He says it's because he didn't trust anyone else to manage me after we made the record. He's a great guy. He's like a dad of daughters, so he like gets it and is very like protective. And I don't know, lots of managers can be like pretty icky, I feel like, and he's just a good dude. So yeah, it's been great to work with him.
Did he tell you why, you know, what is it that, you know, he saw in you that, you know, he made that decision? Okay, this is the person that I'm going to sign right now. Did he tell you that?
He's told me a little bit. I mean, I've heard him tell other people in interviews and stuff. I don't think he'd say it to me. He doesn't want it to go to my head. But he's definitely, he's told me that there was a sort of authenticity. Like a lot of people do impersonations, I guess he says, of old jazz singers. Like they sound like Judy Garland, but it sounds like it's an impersonation of Billie Holiday or whatever. And he said that he was just surprised by how this is actually just my voice. It's just just the way I sing. So I don't know. And he also, I think he's impressed. His wife is a Broadway performer, so he knows a lot of Broadway people, has worked with a lot of actresses, and I think he was impressed with my like storytelling ability and my acting through music. So yeah, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging about myself. I'm not saying that about myself. That's just what Matt has said about me.
But I have to say I share the same feeling with Alan, if that's what he said, because the first time I put on your album in my car, I was actually listening. I was driving. Okay. I was at work. I was listening to it, and I was like, you know, there's this touch of Judy Garland there. Okay. And you know, I didn't even, you know, listen to your interview before. So I didn't know that, you know, Judy Garland actually was your favorite. But then I was like, but Judy Garland, you know, Stella Cole seems to be very, very young. That was what I was, what was happening in my head, right? So it is a little bit rare if someone says they're influenced by Judy Garland, but then I felt the Judy Garland there. But then there's this.
I appreciate that.
To it too, because you're not impersonating Judy Garland, you're just influenced by her. You know, you're taking in, you know, a lot of her, I would say, diction, articulation. There was, you know, really in the expression of many of your songs, but you're yourself. You know, that is what I feel is very unique about you. So I would say I share
how I feel about you with Alan too.
Well, thank you. That is very sweet. I really appreciate that.
and then Universal Music, the colleagues over there just told me that, oh, you didn't know that, Judy Garland was actually Stella's favorite too. I was like, oh my God, of course, and that. So my question to you is, will you ever record a tribute album to Judy Garland, like all Judy Garland songs?
I'm sure I will someday. That's what I wanted to do for like my first album. And Matt was like, no, you can't be the Judy Garland tribute artist. Then that's what you're going to be doing the rest of your life, which is true. I think, like you said, it was special because I have my own voice. So yeah, I think I'll have to, keep getting a little bit more established as like being Stella Cole. And then I would love to go back. I mean, those songs are just my favorite. The Trolley song and Boy Next Door, I've already recorded for like me in St. Louis, and yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say Boy Next Door. Please do it. It's just a great song. So let's listen to another track from your album. It's Magic. Great. So which one to choose?
What should we do? Maybe Till There Was You would be nice.
Yeah, of course. That is the first cut of the song. So Till There Was You. Okay, so here you go.
There were bells on the hill, but I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all till there was you. There were birds in the sky, but I never saw them winging. No, I never saw them at all till there was you. And there was music, and there were wonderful roses. They tell me in sweet fragrant meadows of dawn and dew, there was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all till there was you. There was music, and there were wonderful roses. They tell me in sweet fragrant meadows of dawn and dew, there was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all till there was you. No, I never heard heard it singing till there was you.
咁我哋聽完嘅呢一隻咧係叫做 Till There Was You， 咁好多人認識呢一隻歌就係因為Paul McCartney 啦、Beatles 啦嚇嗰陣時佢係好中意，佢細個嘅時候亦都係聽爸爸媽咪聽呢一啲歌嚇，所以佢自己咧亦都係重新演繹過。咁我喺上個禮拜同 Sam Ho 喺呢個威威店嗰度咧，我哋亦都有一場分享會係專係講 Stella Cole 同埋 Hiromi 都係 Universal Music Artist 嘅一個分享會啦。咁又聽到佢哋歌，亦都有講起呢一隻歌。就 Sam 咧就講 Uncle Sam 就話佢去認識呢隻歌嘅時候咧，其實佢係聽 Peggy Lee 嘅版本嘅。咁我去認識呢隻歌，除咗 Beatles， 其實大部分人都係 Beatles 嘅版本。我嘅第一個 jazz 嘅版本就反而唔係 Peggy Lee， 就係 Etta Jones 嘅版本。咁今次咧我哋就有呢個 Stella Cole 嘅版本非常之有一種 Old Hollywood 嗰一種嘅好 grand， 好多 strings orchestra 喺背後 back 佢嘅呢一種嘅感覺，亦都係呢一隻碟嘅第一隻歌所以咧就聽完呢隻歌咧，我就開始問佢關於 Alan Broadbent 啦關於佢同佢嘅合作，點解會揾佢去做 arrangement 啦？咁當然就係原來發現當陣時佢出第一隻碟嘅時候咧，就已經係想做一啲想有一啲嘢喺 background， 唔好淨係齋係個 trio 咁樣，所以可能有啲 woodwinds。咁究竟邊個可以用一個 limited 嘅 budget， 但係亦都可以做到一個好大嘅聲音咧？佢哋就即時就諗到 Alan Broadbent。而我講佢哋就係 Stella Cole 同佢當陣時嘅 producer Matt Pearson。原來咧係機緣巧合嘅啫喎，呢一樣嘢就係 Stella Cole 去做 research 嘅時候，覺得邊一個人去 produce 佢會係最好咧，咁佢就 approach Matt Pearson， 而 Matt Pearson 同佢咧就一拍即合，就喺佢即係我頭先亦都有問佢，就係佢喺你身上聽到啲乜嘢，點解會可以一拍即合咧咁樣？咁好多人都知道 Matt Pearson 亦都係 Samara Joy 嘅 producer Stella 亦都係非常之 humble 啦，咁佢話佢唔係想讚自己，不過佢聽即係Matt Pearson 講咧，就係佢喺佢嘅音色喺佢演繹裏邊咧，聽到一種 authenticity 嘅，即係屬於佢自己嘅聲音。雖然係有一種傳承喺度嘅，即係大家都可能會聽到 Judy Garland 嘅影子佢嘅 influence， 但係佢亦都唔係 Judy Garland， 佢係即係完完全全一個 Stella Cole， 只係被呢一啲嘅音樂影響咁所以就同佢一拍即合，即係造成咗呢一個咁好嘅 relationship。佢哋兩個都覺得 Alan Broadbent 咧係嗰一位可以幫到佢去做佢想要嗰種聲音嘅編曲人。所以咧呢個 relationship 就係咁樣嚟嘅咁之後咧我哋即係一路傾啦，亦都有下一節咧，其實嚟緊咧第三節咧，咁我都喺度講埋俾大家聽啦，因為一陣間咧講完之後就會播歌咁咧我之後咧就會問佢一啲佢嘅 influences 即係一啲佢對於佢嚟講最有影響力嘅一啲嘅音樂人。當然佢有講到 Judy Garland Barbra Streisand、Nat King Cole 同埋佢亦都講咗另一位就係 Gene Kelly， 佢覺得佢係非常之對佢有影響力嘅，喺嗰個歌曲嘅 delivery 裏邊。傳統上 Gene Kelly 好少人會覺得佢係一個歌唱家佢 more like 係一個 actor 一個演員，但係一個識唱歌、識跳舞、仲要跳舞非常之犀利嘅一個演員所以對於佢嚟講，亦都係一個好大嘅影響啦。而喺呢一張碟It's Magic 裏邊選曲嘅時候，佢其實咧好希望可以 channel 一啲比較 positive 嘅 energy 即係唔係嗰啲即係一開始嘅時候佢話想錄一啲可能比較 sad 啲嘅 heartbreak song， 但係感覺唔係好啱係啦。咁就開始咧就揀一啲咧全部都係比較 positive 嘅 開心嘅一啲講到愛情嘅浪漫真諦嘅一啲嘅 love songs 咁所以佢就揀咗呢啲歌啦。而我最後亦都問到佢咧，關於佢點樣去睇 jazz 嘅聲型同埋 pop 嘅聲型，咁佢亦都有講到就係佢以佢即佢嘅睇法就係好多時候咧唱流行曲咧，好多人都想 show off 佢哋自己有幾勁嘅唱到幾高音或者啲 riffs 啲pop 聲型嘅即興有幾犀利，但係對於佢嚟講咧，雖然佢嘅聲型裏邊咧唔係冇即興嘅，其實都有嘅，即係你唱 jazz 冇可能冇嘅但係個即興咧多啲係佢嘅 phrasing 裏邊喺佢嘅 storytelling 裏邊咁所以咧我哋就非常之開心啦，同佢傾咗個半鐘即係過咗半個鐘頭嘅時間咁所以咧最後咧亦都會送上最後一隻歌啦，咁呢一節嘅今集嘅同 Stella Cole 嘅 interview 啦，係爵士鍾情裏邊播出啦，我哋播咗4隻歌曲嘅分別係 It's Magic、Stairway to the Stars、Till There Was You 同埋最後咧一陣我哋會聽到嘅 Say It 咁所以多謝大家今日收聽同埋即係收睇爵士鍾情 In Love with Jazz， 希望大家咧聽完呢個 interview 之後，如果你未 subscribe to 呢一個節目咧，可以去訂閱呢個節目，因為每一個星期嘅星期五啦，9點鐘嘅時間我哋都會上架新嘅一集過1個鐘嘅一集好多時候都係嘅爵士鍾情。如果大家中意呢一類型嘅音樂，希望大家去多多支持 ，thank you。咁事不宜遲啦，我哋聽下第3節同 Stella Cole 嘅 interview。So, Till There Was You, what a great tune. And how did you, let me ask you this, how did you choose your songs for this album?
That is a great question. When I was choosing for this record, when I first started thinking about it, I was wanting to do some songs that were a little more moody, I guess, more like some Julie London stuff. I was thinking about doing Crimea River or The Man That Got Away, another Judy Garland song. And for some reason, that just wasn't feeling right to me. I was gravitating toward these songs that were a bit more lighthearted and positive and just love songs, not heartbreak songs. And
not minor songs.
I think, yeah, exactly. I became very inspired by this, the record that Frank Sinatra and Tommy Dorsey did together, their first collection album. And that album to me has always just been something that I can listen to it anytime, and it's just uplifting to me. It's like all of these lovely, beautiful songs that are sort of floaty and light. And I think this album didn't end up totally floaty and light because Alan Broadbent is very inspired by Mahler and all these classical musicians, and he's always going to put, Alan Broadbent is never going to sound like the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra. That is not the same. But I think I wanted, in terms of the repertoire, I wanted the songs to feel very just sweet, and I kind of wanted it to be an album of love songs, and I think people don't do that as much today. There's a pressure to have different configurations on every tune of the album, or very different feels, or you have to put a Latin tune in there somewhere. And I was like, no, I just want it to sound like an album that Nat King Cole could have made, or Judy Garland, or Ella Fitzgerald with strings. I wanted it to be for people who wanted to sit down and really listen to a full album and have it feel cohesive. And yeah, I think it turned out well in that way.
Yeah, definitely. And Imagination also came from the Tommy Dorsey, Frank Sinatra collaboration. Is that the inspiration come from?
That and Fools Rush In, I believe. And I think does he also sing Stairway to the Stars? No, he doesn't on that. Yeah, they're Say It. That's the one. Say It. Fools Rush In, Imagination. Yeah. There are 3 from there.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, Imagination really kind of stood out for me, because not a lot of people, do this song these days, but it's such a lovely tune. Jimmy Van Heusen's tune. It's just great. So, and okay. So let me ask you this: you have mentioned so many names today, right? Judy Garland, and except for Judy Garland, who else is your top influences, right? They don't have to be singers. They can be instrumentalists or composers.
Yeah, totally. It's a great question.
I don't know, top 3, top 5, however you want to talk about.
Well, I've already mentioned Judy of Roger. Those are definitely big ones singer-wise. But I think Nat King Cole. Those are probably top 3. But some other ones I'll say that are not necessarily just like singers. I think Gene Kelly is a big inspiration for me. Just like his performance and his like positive energy and his infectious smile, kind of like I'm very inspired by all of that. And
so handsome.
He's so handsome. Exactly. I don't have the handsome factor going for me, but listen, I need to learn to tap dance too. But Gene Kelly and Julie Andrews, like we talked about earlier, she doesn't have a jazz voice at all, but she's such an amazing actress. I feel that same way about Barbra Streisand. She's very inspiring to me because these are people that were not just like singing the song, like they were telling a story every time. And I think since I have a background in acting and musical theater, it's very inspiring to me when people are focusing on the storytelling in that way.
Right. And I feel like, when you're singing and interpreting these songs, I think part of the authenticity is that I was really kind of anticipating, okay, so what is Stella going to do next with her phrasing? Because you do a lot of phrasing and articulation stuff with your interpretation of these, great American tunes. So definitely the storytelling, I can really see that you really love not only jazz, but also, this American, heritage of musical, from the past. And now you're carrying it forward to the future, to the present.
Absolutely.
The future.
Absolutely. I love that. Well said.
So it's been amazing. And let me ask you one more question. Okay. So this is really to fulfill my craving for how do you think about this? Like, how do you think you would approach jazz singing and non-jazz singing differently, or do you understand them differently? Right, in your own head, your own philosophy. How do you see them? Do you see them different or not?
It's a great question. I think for me, the reason in college I could never fit in with the pop singing style, is because I think when I was doing pop singing and when people do that, a lot of it is about like showing off your vocal chops and like how much you can do, like how big of a crazy riff can you do, or like how high can you belt. For me, I mean, it's so impressive. It's amazing to listen to Ariana Grande, like do all of that. It's insane. But that's never been the way that I like to perform. For me, performing any kind of music is telling the story of the song. And I think that that's how I approach musical theater. That's how I approach pop singing. That's why I wasn't very good at it. And that is how I approach jazz. And I think the reason my favorite music to sing is these jazz standards is because they tell the best stories. I mean, that's why they were written, 80 years before I was born, and they're still 70, 80 years before I was born, and they're still around today, and people still love them and love to listen to them because they're just these perfectly told stories that have these beautiful melodies and beautiful lyrics, and we can all still relate to them today. And how crazy is that? It's like great literature. It's like great television, great movies. Like when that's stayed in our culture for a reason. And I can tell a story through a pop song, but it's not as deep of a story for me. So I think my approach is the same, but because of my approach, it makes sense that I love these songs more than anything.
So these standards, they were pop songs back in the days. How do you see, the evolution of pop songs? And, you kind of say that, the pop songs of the present day, you don't really dig them all that much. But then, these pop tunes from the past, why do you think, what do you think is really the difference? If you really have to draw a line for you personally.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely am not a total snob. Like I like Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan. Like I even like some like Justin Bieber songs now. I love Billie Eilish. I think there's a lot of great pop stuff out there. Yeah. But for me, for whatever reason, it just doesn't relate on like a soul level to me. I think part of the reason I love the pop songs of, you know, they were popular back then, but I think they were popular. But first they were in a Broadway musical, which was like the forefront of culture, or they were in a movie musical, which was the forefront of the culture. So they were these songs written to sort of move a story forward and tell a story. And now a song is just written, you know, usually to like be 3.5 minutes and be on the radio or be on Spotify playlists or what, like this song to live on its own. Whereas for me, I feel like, I don't even know if that's true. I mean, I'm sure lots of people relate to the stories of pop songs way more than they relate to, you know, Fools Rush In. But for me, I can't explain it. I just have loved it since I was 2. It's connected with me since I was 2. I think it's some weird, I don't know how to explain it, but it's some weird thing.
No, you explained it very well. Yeah, I you know, I think it's your soul. You know, your soul connects with these music. I think that is what it is, you know.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
Right. So, well, thank you very much, Stella. So tell our audience, how should we follow you? You know, are you on social media? You know, all those.
Yes, I am on social media. My little handle everywhere is Stella Cole. And if you want to find my album, it's Magic. It's on all streaming platforms. And if you want to listen the old-fashioned way, then you can get my CD or my vinyl. I really think it's meant to be listened to on CD or vinyl. Just listen the whole way through. And yeah, you got the CD. So you can get that.
You see?
Right. It's an amazing old-fashioned booklet. Well, you got to have it. That's at stellacole.net or the Universal Music website. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. I love that picture.
Wonderful. So thank you so much. We're going to listen to one more tune. So shall we do Say It?
Let's do it. Come on.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, Roger. This was so much fun.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Say it over and over again, over and over again. Never stop saying you're mine. Say it ever and ever so sweet, ever and ever so sweet, just like an old Valentine. When you say I love you, the same old I love you, they whisper in stories and plays. You can change I love you, that same old I love you, to oh such a heavenly phrase. So say it softly and gently, and then over and over again. Never stop saying you're mine. You can change I love you the same old I love you to oh such a heavenly phrase. So say it softly and gently and then over and over again. Never stop saying